Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Kate and this is my 7-month-old daughter Brynn, and we recently took a trip to Florida which we had to fly to. So I have some travel tips that we learned along the way and I'd love to share them with you guys. And you guys know how Brynn is if you've seen any of my other videos. She doesn't stick around for long, so she really wants to go play with the light right now. So you probably won't see her for much longer. But if you're new to my channel, I make lifestyle, motherhood, and some day in the life and foster care vlogs. So there's a good mix in there, and if you're interested in any of those videos, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel. Boo! I'd like to take a brief intermission just to ask if you think Brynn's cute, give this video a thumbs up. Maybe I'll get a few more thumbs up than I usually do. Now she's interested. Oh, and I forgot to mention that I did make a video solely based on what I packed in her carry-on bag for the plane and our personal items so that she had extra things for the plane. So I will link that up in the cards here, and I'll also link it in the description below if you're needing some help on what to pack in your child's carry-on, or if you're just interested in watching that video. Tip number 1 is to make sure that you check your airline's rules for what kind of baby items you can bring for free, like a stroller and a car seat. The airline that we traveled through, you could bring a car seat and you could check that for free, and you could also bring a stroller or a pack and play. You could choose one of the items, and I think there were a couple other options, but you could bring one of those items and check that for free as well. You could either gate check them or you could check them right when you walked in where you check your baggage. We ended up choosing to check our car seat right when we walked in so that we didn't have to carry that through the airport. And then we brought the lightweight umbrella stroller, which we checked at the gate, and I would highly suggest checking the umbrella stroller at the gate because you can use it throughout the whole airport and you can just take it right through security. And as soon as you get off the plane, your stroller will be right there for you, so you don't have to carry your baby throughout the whole airport. When you're checking your car seat and your stroller, having those bags that you can buy for travel for the car seat and the stroller is very helpful, because you don't want your stroller and your car seat just getting like thrown around without a bag on it. Well, I didn't want mine getting thrown around without a bag on it, so luckily my sister had some that I could borrow, but you can buy them, and those are very nice and they keep your stroller and car seat very protected. We also did bring a baby wrap, and that was helpful bringing the baby wrap because Drew was able to carry her until we got our stroller back, and then we had extra hands for bags that we had to carry because we had a lot of bags. If you watch one of our videos, or if you've already seen them, you will know that we had a lot of stuff, and it was kind of embarrassing. Another tip that I would highly suggest is bringing a boppy pillow, even if you have a younger toddler or a baby that's not nursing anymore. Just bringing a boppy pillow for them to sleep on in the plane, that was very helpful. We just put it around our stomach, and then she laid on it and she slept there. And I'm sure it was more comfortable for her than just laying on her arm for that long, and it was more comfortable for our arms because we had that to rest them on. So that was awesome, and also we were able to let her use it to play in the airport. We put it around her to give her some support and also to help her from crawling off on the nasty airport floor. We just laid a blanket down on the airport floor, and then we put the boppy pillow down in some of her toys, and she was able to play. So that was really helpful. This is probably going to be the most helpful tip that I can give you, but make sure that you have a movie downloaded on either your phone, your laptop, your iPad, whatever device you're bringing with you. Make sure you have a movie downloaded on it. That was a lifesaver for us. Brynn watched that most of the time. I'm not going to lie, but yeah, she watched it most of the time. It kept her from crying. And when she started crying, we would just pull out the movie and she would instantly just watch the movie. So that was awesome. That and snacks were the two main things that helped us get through. But make sure you have a good variety of snacks, age appropriate, because those always keep kids entertained. And I know that kept Brynn entertained. Even more than her just being hungry, she was just entertained by chewing on the puffs. So I just brought some puffs because she can't really have that many snacks yet. She doesn't have any teeth and she's kind of just learning how to eat solids. So I just brought puffs, and that really kept her entertained. So I was very thankful for those. I'm a germaphobe, so another tip that I have is make sure you have hand sanitizer and Lysol wipes or some kind of sanitary wipes. And I use the hand sanitizer a ton, and I brought multiple bottles so I could keep them in different bags once you get through security, so you always have one available. And then also I was able to use the Lysol wipes to wipe down the seats in front of me, wipe down the window and the wall, and to wipe down our armrests and everything, so that way if Brynn happened to touch something, which it's it's gonna happen. Your kids are gonna touch things on the plane even though you are trying to keep them from touching things. She did touch things, but luckily I had sanitized them, so I didn't have to worry about it as much. And I was able to use the wipes. If one of her toys fell on the ground, I could wipe it off. Another tip that I have is to make sure you bring some pacifier clips if you have a baby. And not only can you use these pacifier clips for their pacifiers, but you can also use them for toys. So I clipped them to multiple toys and had them ready to go to be clipped onto her. If she got bored of one toy, I would clip on another toy. So I brought a wide variety of toys, which was one of my other tips. And then I brought pacifier clips so I could clip those onto her, so if she was throwing them, she wouldn't drop them. They would just land in our laps and she could continue playing with them. On the way there, I did not do this and she dropped a lot of toys, but on the way back, I did this and we only had a couple toys fall on the floor, which were toys that we didn't have pacifier clips tied onto. So that was a very helpful tip, as well as having one for her pacifier so she could have her passy and her toy both clipped onto her at the same time. That really seemed to help. This was also really good for when we were using the stroller. We could clip toys from the top of the stroller and they could hang down so she could play with them. And we just used the pacifier clips for that as well. A tip that I heard with the toys is to try to get some new toys that they've never seen before. And I did do that with Brynn so that she would be more entertained since it was a new toy and it's not something that she's used to playing with. I can't really tell if it worked or not because she might not be old enough for that trick, but definitely if you have toddlers, that would be a good one to get them some new toys that they've never seen, so hopefully it will hold their attention for a little bit longer than normal. Another tip that I have is to make sure that you give them something to either drink or suck on the way up and on the way down. So I gave her a bottle and I also used her pacifier if she wasn't able to eat at that time. And one time I did use puffs and I had her sippy cup, so I would just have her take drinks out of her sippy cup. And it's supposed to help with the popping and the pressure in their ears. So I would definitely recommend that, or you can nurse your baby if you do nurse. But that seemed to help. She didn't have any problems with her ears popping. Make sure that your diaper bag and your carry-on bags are strategically packed. We had a little bit of a problem with this. On the way there, I didn't realize that we were going to have to pull out so many things to go through security, like the liquid bags, the baby monitor, the sound machine, our laptop, our camera, and they were all kind of in different bags, so we had to go through a lot of them. And then there were people behind us, and it was kind of a mess. So on the way back, we did a little bit better with that. But make sure that you strategically pack a bag with everything that has to come out so that you only have to open one bag and then you can pull everything out. That was more helpful for us. And also make sure that you pack your diaper bag strategically with things that you're going to need. And I have a video that I'll link above. I said that in the beginning, but I'll make sure and link that in the description so that you can watch that video of how I packed her diaper bag and our carry-on bags strategically for things that we might have needed. And we used a lot of that stuff, so that was very helpful. Definitely make sure that you bring an extra outfit for your baby, or two, depending on what you think you need, how long the flight is. And then also bring an extra outfit for yourself or whoever is going to be holding the baby, because if something happens where your baby makes a mess on you and you need a new shirt or an extra pair of pants and it's packed away in your checked luggage, you're probably not going to be too happy. I packed extra clothes for myself and my husband, just an extra shirt, but we didn't end up needing them. If we would have though, it would have been very handy. If you're breastfeeding and you have to pump before, then make sure that you try to do it before entering the plane, because if you have someone sitting next to you or if you have to be holding your baby while you're on the plane, then it's probably going to be more challenging and stressful to pump on the plane. So there was a plug-in station at the airport, so I pumped there right before we left on the way there, and then on the way home, I pumped right before we had to park the car, because then I was able to not have to pump again until we got home. But that would really just depend on your pumping schedule, but that's what worked for me. And then I was able to give my daughter that bottle when we were on the plane, because my daughter doesn't nurse, she only drinks from a bottle pumped. That's a whole nother story, but yes, she only drinks out of bottles pumped, so I had to do that. And then I also brought formula just in case I needed that and I couldn't produce enough milk. I didn't want to get stuck with not having any food for her, so I also packed formula. And on the way back, on the way there, I was able to use some of that formula and just ask for some hot water at a coffee shop. So I was able to do that, and that really worked out well. But you can bring milk through security. Baby food and formula, milk, water for the formula, that kind of stuff you're able to get through security, but probably make sure you check your airline's guidelines on that because everyone is a little bit different. They did have to hand check my bag, and I was pretty grossed out by that, but I made sure that I asked them to change their gloves before they touched anything, and they were fine with doing that, and then I just had to get patted down for them having to go through my bag, so that was kind of annoying, but that's what I had to do. One thing that I didn't do that I wish I would have done is to bring a blanket to wrap your baby up in if they fall asleep on the plane, because the air conditioning, when it was pointed at us, it got a little bit chilly for her, so we had to take off one of our sweatshirts and just kind of wrap it around her. But if I would have had a blanket, I probably would have rather used that because it would have been more comfortable for her, but we really didn't have any room left to pack a blanket for her. Also, if you can dress your baby in layers, that's helpful because if they get too hot, you can always take off their pajamas or their extra shirt, and there would be a onesie under it or something like that. So you wouldn't have to worry about your baby getting too hot, or if they get too cold, you can throw on their sweatshirt, things like that, because we did have to do that with Brynn, and if I wouldn't have dressed her in layers, it would have been a little bit more difficult to do that. And if you're going to a place where the climate's going to change, make sure you pack some climate appropriate clothes for that weather when you get there, because we changed Brynn on the plane before we got off into shorts and a little tank top when we got into Florida. Make sure that you board when the families are boarding, because usually they'll call for people that need assistance and families to board the plane first before they start going through the order of seating. And that was very helpful because we were able to kind of cheat the system and get more space up above. You're not supposed to put your personal items above where you store your carry-on bags. You're supposed to carry them underneath the seat, but we had too many bags for that, so we had to use some of that storage space up above. I know it's probably not good to do that because, I don't know, you probably should follow the rules, but that was helpful for us because we were able to put some of our bags up there, and we were the first ones on, well, some of the first people on, so we got extra space, and no one asked us to take our bags out, so that was very helpful. If we would have got on last in the order that our seats were, then there probably wouldn't have been enough space up above, and we probably would have had a ton of bags at our feet. So that's very helpful to make sure you get on first with the families boarding. Make sure you're paying attention so you don't miss that call. If you can, try to plan out your baby's schedule so that they can take a nap on the plane. This might be when you're booking the tickets, schedule it kind of during their nap time, or if it depends when your child wakes up in the morning, what time they'll take a nap. Try to either wake them up a little bit earlier or put them to bed a little earlier so they'll wake up a little bit earlier, so that way you can get a nap in on the plane and it takes up some of the plane time. That was really helpful with Brynn. She only slept for a half an hour each way, but that was an extra half an hour that we didn't have to be entertaining her, feeding her, watching her movie, something like that. So that was very helpful for us. Those are all my tips. So thank you so much for watching this video, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up and make sure and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear any video suggestions that you have for the future that I can do, and I'd love to hear feedback on this video. If there's something that I missed that was a tip that was helpful for you when you traveled with your children, leave that down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.